St. Paul Cathedral, presented by Joana Perez, Lerislady Mirabal, and Krishna Vilar. In one of the top busiest cities in the world stands one of the most magnificent cathedrals ever seen, the St. Paul's Cathedral of Allington Bishop. It was built within the central city of London upon Ludgate Hill in the northeast of Blackfriars, a structure that contains so much history within its construction between the time of AD 604 to 1708. A Roman temple to Diana may once have stood on the site, but the first taken cathedral was built of wood, probably by Mellitus in AD 604, which was dedicated to St. Paul during the rule of King Ethelbert I. The building was burnt down in year 675, and in 685 the next cathedral was rebuilt, but this time it was made out of stone, which was destroyed by the Vikings in 961. The third cathedral was begun in 962, which was also built with stone and later invaded by the Normans in 1066.
Making it the fourth church to be built was the old St. Paul's Cathedral, which was begun by the Normans after the 1084 fire. The construction of this cathedral took over 200 years. Unfortunately, most of the work was lost in another fire that occurred in 1136, which spread over most of the city, damaging the cathedral and delaying its construction. The reconstruction, known as the New Work, which was held within the years 1555 to 1314, changed the style of the building from heavy Romanesque into early English Gothic. Although the base Norman columns of the building were left alone, lancet pointed arcs were placed over them in the triforium, and some heavy columns were substituted with clustered pillars. The roof was rebuilt again in wood, which was originally to dome the building. The east end of the cathedral church was extended, enclosing the parish church of St. Faith, which was now combined with the cathedral, ending the reconstruction in 1314. In 1561, lightning destroyed the spire of the cathedral, which was not replaced. In result, both of the Protestants and Catholics took this as a sign of God's displeasure. In the conclusion of this building came the Great Fire of 1666, which destroyed Old St. Paul's and 13,000 homes in the city of London. The fire was so immeasurable that it literally melted the cathedral bells.
In the aftermath of the Great Fire of London, Sir Christopher Wren designed the new St. Paul's Cathedral. He designed and built a total of 52 churches, many which have disappeared, but St. Paul's is one of the most astonishing that still remains. Wren had previously been involved in the repairs of the old cathedral since 1661. Upon hearing the news of the Great Fire in London, he immediately returned to London to work out the plan to rebuild the city. However, it took many design proposals before his design for St. Paul's was finally approved. His design process was known as reinvention, with his vision he held of the London skyline marked by the dome landmark. In 1669, the first model design proposed by Wren was known as the first model, which contemplated rebuilding on the existing foundations. The design was approved, but then later said to be too modest. His new alterations for the second proposal, the Greek cross, was inspired by the Italian Renaissance. It included a large portico library to be built along with a double apse dome and the apse to the choir. Wren's artistic abilities were undoubtedly astonishing and were considered one of the best architectural models ever made. It is said that he placed higher value on this design than he had before or after. However, others argued that the model lacked continuity of tradition. The construction of the new St. Paul's Cathedral began in 1674, when he presented his third and final model design of St. Paul's. The modified design was known as the Warrant design, a classical Gothic design. The plan still remaining longitudinal, with a central space located beneath the tall dome and a two-story exterior facade. Finally, in 1711, the St. Paul's Cathedral was considered to be completed.
Christopher Wren designed this cathedral with various elements from Baroque, Neoclassical, and Gothic elements, also designing one of the highest domes in the world. Besides its beauty, the cathedral has had many notable and famous people buried within. In fact, architect Wren was one of the first to be entombed in the cathedral. The wedding of Prince Charles and Princess Diana was also held there. It has also been in several films like Mary Poppins and Harry Potter. St. Paul's Cathedral is also known for having over 3 million people visiting each year. Who wouldn't want to visit?